Sir, Hemant, how many of faculty members are expected to be here on this platform?
Sir, till now we have the
six.
Because my talk will be addressed to students primarily, but this is also going to benefit the faculty.
Yes, sir. We have 6 faculty members here, and then we are also recording the session, so everybody will be benefited. Yes, sir.
Yes, because I am going to address
Yes.
primarily the student.
Yes.
But I'll also be talking on how faculty 4.0 and faculty 4.0
Yes, sir.
should evolve. So this is why.
True,
I think some of my faculty colleagues, I'm not sure, I have circulated. So it depends, or they also know that I'll be sharing recording with them anyway.
We will share the recording with you as well, sir.
Please, sir, at the earliest.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Yeah, Gupta ji, please.
So good morning, everybody. Today we have with us a very renowned and very prompt academicians, Dr. Professor T.K. Chatterjee. The professor welcomes to the Charusat University. So Dr. T.K. Chatterjee has more than 20 years of experience in the industry. Not over that, having 15 years industrial experience and the academic experiences, and he received Best Teacher Award in the Marketing in 2015 from the Lokmat National Education Leadership Associations. Moreover, he has 15 years of academic experience in the KIIT Schools of Management, XIMB, and recently he is associated with the IMT Nagpur, one of the renowned management school or B schools in India. Not over that, only the academic purpose, the T.K. Chatterjee is also very good and humble human who is ready to associate, ready to participate, ready to help each and every person, those who are expecting him or contacting him. So over to you, Professor Chatterjee, and you have 15 minutes time for this particular sessions, and for the 10 minutes we kept for the question answering. Okay, over to you, sir.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Dr. Hemant Gupta, for that for that illustrious introduction. Thank you. So to start with, let me begin by expressing my sincere thanks and gratitude to first Dr. Devang Joshi, who happens to be registrar with the University, the Charusat University. Then Dr. Bhaskar Pandya. I just had a brief interaction also with Dr. Pandya. I was privileged. He happens to be the HOD. And then Dr. Pranab Desai, very senior faculty member of Charusat University. And last but not the least, my sincere gratitude and thanks go to Dr. Hemant Gupta, who formally invited me to this address, this August gathering. And then, of course, my warm welcome goes to all the faculty members who have joined from different institutes, including Charusat. And also, my warm welcome goes to all the students who are very close always to my heart. And I always consider it to be my proud privilege. And I feel really, happy whenever I have an opportunity to talk to my students. So I'm sure that this session you all will enjoy. And if there happens to be an industry expert who is listening, my warm welcome goes to, all the audience, my warm welcome to all of you. And I feel very privileged and happy to be, to have been given this opportunity to address this August gathering. So with that, topic is very, very exciting, undoubtedly, and very relevant. Innovative approaches to meet Industry 4.0 scenario. Very, very relevant. So let me begin my brief presentation that I have for you. And I hope I am properly audible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So this is welcome, esteemed participants. Topic, I already told you, innovative approaches to meet Industry 4.0. And just let me begin with a brief introduction, though Dr. Gupta has already introduced me. I am currently associated with Institute of Management Technology at Nagpur as an associate professor in marketing area. And my association is now about 10 years old with this Institute of Management Technology. Briefly telling you about IMT, we have our flagship campus in Ghaziabad, which is now more than 40 years old. And IMT Nagpur is there, IMT Hyderabad is there, and then Dubai is there. These are some of the photographs captured by my students on different occasions in IMT. And the news is that IMT is also going to launch its fellowship program this academic year. So with this brief introduction of my institute, let us, myself already, Dr. Gupta told you that I have got more than 20 years experience in industry, having worked in different positions, including general manager and CEO. And some 14 years back, I have come to academics. And, I've been I've been teaching, doing some research articles and things like that. So I'm not a career academician, I'm an industry practitioner turned into an academician. So question arises in all of our mind must be that why innovative approaches are at all required in both teaching and learning. Since I'm addressing my students and also some faculty members, so it is both innovative approaches are required to meet Industry 4.0 requirement in both teaching as well as learning. Because why we exist? Have you ever thought why we are pursuing our engineering education, our management education? What is the reason behind it? The primary reason is we become industry ready. Many of us, rather most of us, of course, some opt for a career in academics, research, training and training, that apart, majority of students pursuing engineering and management courses, they must have, they are looking at becoming industry ready. Many of them will opt for an suitable opening in industry. So, but industry itself, having said this, let us understand that industry itself is undergoing a revolution, isn't it? And rules of the game there are changing every hour. I'm not exaggerating because it is not my statement. This has been said by, this Doug Macmillan in the photograph. And we all know that he is, CEO of the CEO of the largest retail company in the world, Walmart. So something coming from Doug's mouth, it is like coming from the horse's mouth. So he has said, that strategies now, forget about planning and tactical moves and all. Even strategies nowadays have to be drawn on hourly basis. So this statement captures the kind of tornado, I can say, or the revolution that is sweeping across the entire corporate world now. So obviously, just a brief walk through the, to understand the magnitude and ferocity of this, of this kind of industrial revolution, just as early as 1976, slightly more than 40 years back, there were only 3 cars in Indian market. And I distinctly remember my father buying a standard Gazelle, which was his 3rd car because he had already possessed Ambassador and Fiat. So there were only 3 options before Indian customers as early as some 40 years back. Now, what is the scenario today? We all know. What is the scenario today in car market? We are spoiled for choice. We keep wondering whether to buy now or maybe we can wait for, a couple of years when electric cars and all, they become in vogue, more popular. In India, once, infrastructure-wise geared up, this, all other cars will be out of already automatic cars. They have virtually made this, manual transmission enabled cars virtually obsolete. Every other car we drive today is automatic and all modern. So this, I am telling you just to impress upon you the ferocity and veracity of the change that is taking place in the market. Now, just a brief history, we all know that in 1997, a famous book, a landmark book got published by the name of The Innovator's Dilemma, and it was authored by none other than Professor Clayton Christensen, a very respected professor from Harvard. So, and I will recommend all my students, all management and engineering students, to please read this book, The Innovator's Dilemma, because this book basically heralds or rather propounds, a particular term which has become very much in vogue now, that is disruptive innovation. The concept of disruptive innovation is now talk of the industry. It is now, it is a kind of term which is there, which is making waves through the industry. Disruptive innovation. So why this book particularly I am quoting here, 1997 publication. Since then, there have been more advancement in the theory propounded by Dr. Clayton Christensen. There have been latest research articles on disruptive innovation, because unfortunately, we all lost Dr. Christensen early last year. He died. So, there are other, but then by then there are other researchers who are taking his work forward. So this concept of disruptive innovation, I'm not here to only deliver a lecture on this, otherwise I would have told you, but briefly, please understand that this, wild growth of technology has resulted in this concept, disruptive innovation, So we will talk slightly more about that slightly later. So Industry 4.0, I believe most of us we know. And just for a quick recap, I'm showing you this slide. That first industrial revolution was driven by water and steam. Some automation happened, mass scale production happened. That was first industrial revolution. Second industrial revolution, the only difference is electricity also came into, picture. So further automation, further this thing happened in Industry 2.0 era. Industry 3.0, I was actively working in corporate at that time, and in front of my own eyes it happened. Sometime in Indian context, let me tell you, it was early 80s and mid 80s that Industry 3.0 was happening, that revolution was happening. And what was the revolution? Computers started showing up. And that, dramatically changed the whole scenario. The work that used to take, say, years to do started happening in months and weeks. We all know what a computer is. Today's generation, the dear students, and all of us, now we know. But I remember that time, mid 80s, I was trying to bag an order from BCCL and BCCL Dhanbad for 400 typewriters. And, and the very 11th hour, it came as a shock to me. The director purchase told me that, Mr. Chatterjee, I'm sorry, we are not going to buy your machine. Manual typewriters of Remington brand. It came as a shock to me. And I asked the then director, I will not take his name because he still happens to be my good friend. He was the then director purchase with BCCL Dhanbad. He told me, please don't get upset because it has nothing to do with your product or your company. Remington brand is the most respected company in typewriter in the world. But we have bumped into other product called, he said, he used the word, which is called computer, and it was demonstrated to us by IBM. And we found that to be, many times more efficient and faster compared to your product, manual typewriter. Probably he told me that one computer can do the work of 40 typewriters or 50 typewriters with more accuracy and speed. So I remember it. And that was the herald of, that was the announcement, kindly, kind of, for arrival of Industry 3.0. And there was a lot of resistance because all this, because people were scared of losing jobs and everything. And there was a kind of upheaval, and the then Prime Minister, Sri Rajiv Gandhi, it is led Sri Rajiv Gandhi, thanks to his initiative, he pushed it through despite all resistance slowly in government and everywhere. And now we see these computers found. Now, every home, average middle class home, now there are 3-4 laptops seen. So this kind of revolution, one each for every family member. In my home itself, there are 7-8 laptops by now. Some of them have gone obsolete, so we bought, so that way. And every middle class family has this scenario. So that was Industry 3.0. More automation happened, processes got faster. But then what is Industry 4.0 then? What is the difference between Industry 3.0 and Industry 4.0? Both were computers driven, technology driven. The main difference is Industry 4.0 saw optimization of computerization. Industry 4.0 saw optimization of computerization. Now, what is optimization of computerization? Had it been a live audience, I would have loved to hear from you. But currently, since we are on a virtual platform, I'll take all your questions and answers in the end of the session. Surely, I'll try to address them. I'll request Dr. Hemant Gupta to please record all the questions that are appearing on chat and everything. We will take it at the end of the session. I'll finish with it. So, Industry 4.0, please understand the subtle difference between Industry 3.0 and 4.0, because both are technology driven, both are computer driven. Industry 3.0 was computerization. Computers started automating different processes. In Industry 4.0, computers have become interconnected. That is the main difference. Now, computers are talking to each other. That is the subtle difference between Industry 3.0 and Industry 4.0. So by the time Industry 4.0 really started showing in Indian context, I was already into academics, having left my corporate career some 14 years back. It was just making inroad. But whatever evolution happened, it happened in last 10 years, or rather slightly less than that. In Indian context, I'm talking less than 10 years. So Industry 4.0, now let us go deep into it, why innovations are required and why they are call of the hour now, both for students as well as faculty in higher education. Industry 4.0 is nothing but fourth industrial revolution. Okay, nothing but fourth industrial revolution. The term given is Industry 4.0. So we talked briefly on this. I already talked first revolution, second revolution, when automation happened, then third revolution, when computers started showing up, then fourth revolution, computers are interconnected. And even fifth revolution, Industry 5.0 is already, being talked both in research circle and in practice circle. So Industry 5.0 will be driven by more of, robots, and, more of technology. Let's call it this way, robotized. The factories will be all virtually automated and things like that. Now here, the matter of interest and concern for all of us, especially our students and faculty, is that every student and that every industrial revolution sees the requirement of evolving skills. That is the whole problem. Now, if I say that I have done my MBA some 35 years back, and if I want to teach the same thing in the class, and the whole class, the whole teaching, the whole lecture will be out of context. So we need to constantly evolve. You students also, today, whatever you are doing, please never, I hate the students writing MBA done and dusted. Once they are convocated and once they have finished their course, MBA done and dusted. I hate it. Yeah, that degree has been done and dusted. Fine. MBA degree, वो एक कागज जो मिलता है, वो मिल जाएगा after finishing your MBA in 2021 or whatever year you do it. But 5 years down the line, if you are not constantly updating yourself, industry के लिए आप बेकार हो जाओगे, बेकार, बेकार, useless, worthless. You will get popped out. Nobody has to throw you out. You will yourself become obsolete and redundant for the industry. The message is very clear that continuous learning is the only or is the order of the day, and we have no choice. Both students, faculty, industry practitioners, they have no choice but to constantly update. And this is a research which appeared in Brazilian journal, and references are all given. You can read these researches later in detail because time here is limited. So I'm going further. So this slide has already I have talked about this. That Industry 4.0 is nothing but optimization of computerization. Further optimization of computerization that began in Indian context sometime in early and mid-80s. Now, innovative approaches to teaching are an imperative. So you can add from here, here that innovative approaches to teaching and learning. Teaching and learning. We as faculty, we have to update ourselves. We have to reinvent ourselves every hour. I will not say every day, because Doug said that now strategies are being drawn on hourly basis. Doug of Walmart, I'm taking from cue from him, that faculty and students, we all need to continuously reinvent ourselves, because otherwise we will declare ourselves redundant. Because history has shown human civilization, the history, if you read that book, that Sapiens by 3 authors, I read it some time back. You read that book, it talks about it, and every revolution needs new skill set. Industry 1.0 required a given skill set, which was not required prior to the revolution. Then this manual and all these things were, similarly, first industrial revolution, again, what happened? Some new skill sets were demanded. Similarly, Industry 4.2. So with every industrial revolution, some existing skills become redundant and some new skill sets getting added. So Industry 4.2 will basically see emergence of smart factory. Emergence of smart factory, which will operate in cyber physical, environment, CPS. Partially cyber and because computers are talking to each other. Whenever something happens in the market, or suppose you are into mid to order kind of situation or extreme customization you are practicing, which is order of the day in all companies now. So whenever a particular product gets sold in somewhere in the market, that backward communication starts that this will be in demand and factory starts operating. So something like that is happening. Something like that is happening. So obviously, today's engineers and MBAs who are working in this kind of environment, they have to be very, very updated. What these developments are, how they operate. What is Internet of Things? By now, it is so common that we all know. Internet of Things is all internet-enabled devices. They are now interconnected. They are now interconnected. From sitting in my car, I can switch on my AC at my residence. Some 15 minutes before I arrive there, I can switch on my refrigerator. If they are interconnected, they all can be, these all are possibilities. So this is called Internet of Things. Now computers are interconnected through internet. So please understand this. So important for all our students to understand what are the different technological skills that are in practice in Industry 4.0. Robots, simulation, system integration, Internet of Things, as we just now saw. Cyber security has become a big issue. All this blockchain and all this. Then cloud computing is very much in vogue now. Then additive manufacturing or 3D manufacturing is very talked about term and very much practiced thing in the industry now. And of course, last but not the least, big data. Big data. What is big data? Where from big data is coming? anyway, sorry, we cannot, that's my, I mean, our limitation when we meet on a technology-enabled platform, that we cannot be as interactive as we could be had it been a physical interaction, sitting in a hall or a room. So anyway, having admitted that, so we will take it up. So I was telling you what is big data and where from the big data getting generated. The big data is getting generated because these Internet of Things, all these machines getting connected, you know, like say when we do a transaction in a bank, when we buy something on a virtual platform from Amazon or from Flipkart, many transactions, banking and many purchases, day-to-day purchases, all are internet enabled, or making payment through Paytm, and all this is Internet of Things. So all this data is getting captured, isn't it? All this data is getting captured whenever you are doing net banking, or whenever you know, all this data is getting Alexa with an innocent machine sitting at my place. The other day I was asking my daughter, I want an alarm to be set. So she said, just tell Alexa, she will do it for you. You know, so I just told Alexa, tomorrow please wake me up at say 6:30 in the morning. Alexa, sure. So like that. But Alexa, if she can listen to it, common sense, if she can listen to my instruction, she can also listening to my private talks, common sense. When I am discussing with my wife in extreme privacy, what kind of, you know, car we should buy next, or what kind of, you know, destination we should travel next for our holidays, Alexa is a silent listener. And so just imagine the kind of data that companies are sitting in. Google is sitting in what kind of, volume of data they are sitting in. They don't only know my present need, they also look what I may need in future. Imagine the kind of revolution. So Alexa is a good servant, good assistant, but also a spy at our place from the, you know, source. We all should know that. Alexa, Siri, then Google Assistant, all whatever you talk, you have it. You know, all this internet, when we browse, we are, you know, ending up giving a lot of information about us. So big data, all companies are sitting on huge chunk of data. So obviously what they will demand? They will demand somebody who can churn the data and take out some meaningful information, which is known as data analytics. So analytics is in thing, which is known as data analytics. Data have no meaning. Data is just information. And vast amount of information have no meaning unless you systematize it, churn it, and take out something which is, you know, which is of value to you. You know, that is what we do in research articles also. Ultimately, you know, implications, managerial implication, results and findings, discussion, they all say that what my data basically means to industry and to other stakeholders. Otherwise, merely collecting data, doing analysis has no meaning, So that is why this data analytics will be in huge demand. It is already in huge demand. It will be in further, further huge demand in days to come. So let us briefly look at what are the, you know, implications of Industry 4.0, which is so high tech, which is so much technology driven. One implication is, in my time, you know, I had to make some 35 years back when I began my sales and marketing career, we had to, you know, we had to make a lot of efforts to understand what will be the, you know, forthcoming needs and wants in the market, so that we can keep our manufacturing and our management informed on that, so that they can gear up. But today, this identification of opportunities, so much of effort is not required. So many cold calls that I used to make in a day just to interact with my potential customers and try to identify their needs and wants as we teach in marketing classes. No more that is redundant. So it has basically, I strongly feel that the seven-step selling process that we keep discussing in marketing classes to all our students is basically now evolving. What is the change? It used to start from prospecting, then pre-approach, approach, sales presentation, objection handling, then taking the order, and then follow up and follow through. So this seven-step process, that prospecting is now thing of past. Because you start from pre-approach time, you have already got your potential customers identified, and you start from there. And not only in sales and marketing, in fact, this kind of technology is a multifaceted concept. Technology is a multifaceted concept. It can manifest itself in myriad ways. So it can not only product development and new products and need identification, it can radically be changing the logistics and supply chain, more efficient supply chain. It can result there, it can show up there also, it can manifest there. Then autonomous equipment and vehicles can be a result. Now in many warehouses and factories, we see vehicles which are moving inside the plant are automated and things like that. Then robots are already there, they are in thing. In fact, this COVID era, many hospitals and all, they used robots to help these COVID patients where maintaining distance was required. Robots were of great help, not only in hospitals, but also in hotels. When there's COVID era, they faced manpower crunch. They used robots to, in a great way. Then additive manufacturing, 3D printing can be another application, smart factories and things like that. And Internet of Things and cloud, we already talked what it is. Interconnected machines. So obviously, all these changes, when the changes happen, the associated skill sets will be changing. So these are some of the skills which are in demand in Industry 4.0 scenario. Now we are very clear what we mean by Industry 4.0. Interconnected machines, lot of automation, lot of computerization, lot of technology, so to say, per se. So skills will be obviously, first of all, networking, IT and IoT. They are evergreen skill. They were in demand. They are in demand. They will continue to be in demand. Then data scientists, data architects will be in huge demand. My own, why to go far? My own daughter, who is an MBA specialized in marketing from IIT Kanpur, is pursuing a career in marketing analytics, with a multinational. So that is what, this data scientists, analytics, they will be in great demand, because we saw that companies are sitting on huge chunks of data. Developers and softwares, they are again an evergreen thing, always required. More the merrier, I should say. But apart from this, these are some of the other skills because technical skills alone are not enough. So attention to detail, then critical thinking, strong communication skill. Strong communication skill. This is why I paused here and repeating it, that it is my experience of working in corporate for so many years and now in academics for 15 years, that many people I come across who are brilliant when it comes to their domain knowledge, whether technical or whatever they have pursued in. But they still, slightly lag behind, or they don't achieve their full potential in their chosen field or career because of weak communication skill. Communication skill is imperative for students, for faculty, for industry practitioners, you name it and you have it, any field. So I put a lot of emphasis on developing and working on communication skill. Then, interest and aptitude for technology is a given must nowadays. I had to learn at this old age I had to learn, little bit of technology, which I have to use. Right now, we are meeting on a technological platform. I can't say that it was not there in my time, so I don't know it. So then, that will not work. So continuous upgrading is required. You must be a dependent. Dependability is an important skill. You are technically brilliant, but I can't depend on you for any project that you will finish it on. Dependability means everything. People should be comfortably be able to depend on you for anything. This again, personal, professional life everywhere. And of course, ability to be cross-trained. I can't say that I'm a marketing man, so I don't need any skill or I don't have to know anything about operations, HR, or finance. I can't say that. I should have an holistic approach. Similarly, a chemical engineer can't say that I'm a chemical engineer, so I will not know anything about, say, mechanical engineer or computer science. That is their field. Good old days are gone. 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 Okay, some degree of specialization is needed. So my knowledge since I'm a marketing professor, my knowledge in marketing will be expected, and that is expected, but that is not sufficient. If I don't know anything about what's happening in HR, I'm talking about management currently, management field. If I can't say I don't have to know anything about HR, operations, finance, I only know marketing. So again, unknowingly, I am, kind of limiting myself. Strong message to all the students and faculty. Please don't think in silos. The guy is doing something, please don't think in silos. Have a holistic approach as much as possible. So these are some of the, soft and hard skills which will be trained, which will be called for Industry 4.0. I've given you a list for ready reference. This is very, very useful for students. They should look at this table and just ask, do an introspection. What are the hard skills that you already possess? What are the soft skills that you already possess? If you don't possess anything, please, do something to acquire the skill. Because now, learning is, again, it is virtually free. You type in Google anything, I am at this age, I am pursuing a course in digital marketing from a platform, online platform, because in my time, digital marketing was not in vogue, not in practice. So to know about its nitty-gritty, I am pursuing it. Why I told you this, that continuous upgradation is must. I can't say that now that I'm touching 60, I don't need to upgrade myself. The day I think like this, 2 years, 3 years down the line, the system itself will throw me out because I will declare myself redundant, obsolete. So these are some of the skills. I'm not reading them one by one. Please read. But some of the skills, like I was harping so much on communication skills, then flexibility, then self-discipline, all this, people management. The more I emphasize, less, it is very, very important, people management. Many people, they can't go general manager and CEO because they are technically very competent. Their, academic background, their technical knowledge is sound. But at that level, those skills must be backed by people management skills because there are many people reporting. So only your technical skill, you can apply it in NASA, working for knowledge, or some sitting in a 10 by 10 room and do your own research. That is all right. But when you are being reported to by 400, 500, 4,000 people, that skill alone will not help you. Then you will not go to that level. Organization will put you in a job where, there is no man management required. So this skill was in demand, is in demand, and will continue to be in demand. Then new talents, unfortunately, it is again from some research. They say that now companies, they have become slightly disappointed by the job that we are doing as academic institutes, engineering, management. I'm not classifying that this institute is doing that. Is in general, industry has realized that whatever engineering and management graduates are hitting the market, they have to add to their skill to finally make them, working professional of some value to the organization. Unfortunate scenario, but true scenario. Every organization has their own training scale, cell and all. and they train people as well. They just buy raw material from the institutes. That includes IITs, IIMs, everywhere. Let us not classify. So they just see the potential, the raw material, and take them, and then they train them up for their own requirement. And another thing which caught my attention, let us all know that, that learning or teaching transversal skills, that soft skills, is always more difficult than learning soft skills. We all know that. One can easily learn, many dumb fellow can easily, dumb in the sense that weak in communication and interpersonal skills, can be very good in mathematics. But when it comes to communicating, he's zero, because mathematics is a hard skill. If you have that brain developed, you can easily, pick up that 4 + 4 = 8. But that will not help you. That skill alone will not help you go general management position or CEO position. 4 + 4 = 8. Do your research, write a paper, publish it in Massachusetts Institute. But don't come to manage people where 4,000, 5,000 people are reporting. Unless that mathematical skill is also backed up by your man management skill. But learning transversal skills or soft skills any day is more difficult than learning any hard skill. Research says it is not coming from me. So obviously, again, more is less in this year. More emphasis, it cannot be overemphasized. That social and collaborative skills is required to succeed in life. Only technical skill, I'm a chemical engineer from Massachusetts, fine, very good, work in our plant and do your job. Don't, the corner room office is not for you. You are an extremely good chemical engineer, but you are not suited for general manager or CEO's position. Sorry. It's true, it is fact. Anybody who wants to debate with me can debate on it. Many brilliant minds I have seen, stagnating at some level because of lack of social and collaborative skills. Students, please keep it in mind. And this is not, again, coming from Carnegie Institute of Technology. I don't need to emphasize. It is coming from Carnegie Institute of Technology. You know what they are saying? Being a technical institute, they are saying that 85% of your financial success, and let us not say financial, I will call it success in life, not only financial. Financial success is a result. If I was CEO, naturally I've made some money. So that is byproduct. Money is a byproduct. So 85%, let us slightly rectify, 85% of your success in life is due to your personality and ability to communicate, negotiate, and lead. When 4,000 people are reporting to you, you need to lead. Shockingly, only 15% is due to technical knowledge. Do you know what this means? Please see it in your leisure. I will share this PPT with Dr. Gupta, and those students who are interested will share later with them. Look at this slide and think what it communicates. Here, it is not to belittle the technical skill. Here, it is not belittle theoretical skill or research skill, but 15%. They are required 15% in senior position. So we need to evolve. As an academic institute, we need to evolve. Whatever we have been teaching 5 years before will no more work in Industry 4.0 and Industry 5.0 scenario. And students also have to clearly evolve. They have to, continuous learning. If you feel that we as institutes can, make you industry ready, you are mistaken. Just the other day in IMT, we were discussing that what are the other, platforms that we should suggest to our students for augmenting their learning. Coursera, Google, and all this. This is must. We are doing our job. Be that your Charu University or IMT Nagpur or IIM Kolkata, we are trying to do our job, but enough is not enough. unless you are motivated to learn more, because the demand by Industry 4.0 and 5.0 is compelling people to for continuously learn. Continuous learning has to be there. Quoted et al. Again, same thing. I was going through some research because I just don't want to come to a platform and share my own opinion. It has no meaning. And all these are put in references. Please go through the references. And if you want, you can see the whole full article in Google Scholar or whatever platform you are using for your research. So again, so what do we need to do, students? Abstract knowledge and reasoning has no meaning. So whenever something is being taught to you in the theory class, whatever faculty, esteemed faculty teaches you, please you think where I can apply it. Early learning that, FAB approach, feature, advantage, and benefit, I'm giving you example from marketing thing, will not help you. If you can write the paper and get A+ grade and pass out, but in the industry, you will become 0 unless you can apply it. Implication, and then managers apply it or need that much man management skill in our profession. But the students who are going to industry, doing that will not work. They will throw you out. They will just kick you. Let me use the word kick you, because I've seen many IIT IIM graduates in industry getting thrown out of their job. Just because of that background they joined, but when they were non-performers, they were not applying whatever these esteemed institutes taught them, they were thrown out. Throw them out. And then they try to hide here and there in the guise of consultant. This is very unfortunate scenario. I'm not happy about it. So basically, what I am trying to tell you here then go through these researches, Shwet Sova and Kuzmina's research. It is very, very relevant. Again, what are they talking? I think I have told you everything. Digitization of education, training, integration of professional academic training, very, very important. Very, very, this integration is very, very important. Then again, this research shows that since higher education institutes are falling behind, that's what I was telling. Though we are striving, we are trying our best. This is not to any particular academia in general. They are falling behind. They're lagging behind. Industry is not happy with whatever we are currently delivering. This includes all institutes across the world. So there is a need for further evolution. Again, this research, it is from Germany, which shows some change the skills. Skill requirement is changing. That is the whole problem. Skill requirement is constantly changing in the industry, in the real life, constantly. So the direct impact is emergence of even the product designing, new product development has undergone a lot of change. In my time, I have seen how it used to. I was part of this sub 110 air conditioner when it was developed by Shriram Refrigeration. I was general manager with them at that time. So I was actively involved in its development. I know what it was happening. But today, if I go, I'll fall flat. My experience 15 years back when I was a CEO will not work here, because now this product development is totally backed by augmented reality, virtual reality. The time of development has got compressed. So all these, things are sweeping. This is happening. A lot of changes are sweeping the world. Some slides which are redundant because we are reaching end of the time. So again, this BACS research was very useful, because what they did was they did some kind of data, they did some text mining. What they did was they came across different job advertisements, and by applying text mining, they came across, they identified the required skills, which are some of them I have shown you. Otherwise, please read the full article and understand it. The full article is referred here. So students can go back home or go back to their library or wherever you are, access this article, full article, and read it. Same to faculty. Very important. We can't teach. We can't learn unless we know what for we are learning, what is lying ahead for us. why we are teaching our students. I teach in my class with a goal that all my students should go CEO, nothing less. My slogan to all my students, my message to all my students is very clear. If you don't go CEO, I am failure as a teacher. So this is, this multidisciplinary skill. I can't say I don't know. That's why with a lot of interest at times I read whatever article I bump into in the field of HR, operations, and all other management fields. Same thing applies to engineering faculty. You can't say I have knowledge in my own department. No, then you are redundant. You can be expert. I'm repeatedly telling you, when it comes to marketing, I'm supposed to know, more than what I know in HR or operations. But having said that, I can't say I don't know anything about HR. I don't know anything about finance. Then how could I be CEO if I don't understand how to read a trial balance, how I put my signature? If I don't know how operations happen, what is CEO's role? Simple question to all of you. What does a CEO do? Is he a salesman? Is he an operations guy? Is he an HR guy? He is all in one, all rolled in one. So no silos, no compartmentalization. You must have hang of everything and expert in. You can be jack of all trades, master of none and master of one. That is agreed. A man cannot be equally. I can't claim that since I read some HR articles, I know about HR as much as I know about marketing. Because marketing is my special primary area. But I can't say I draw a blank when it comes to other functional areas. No. These are some of the tools that we should be using, recommended for this is more for both for faculty and students. Please use this concept of maker space in our universities and institutes. What is this? You please read the whole article, because now I'm coming to end of my time. I don't want to eat into. And this is one of the initiatives that we have taken in IMT. This was, again, we found that in the students only being taught in the class, rural marketing and all this will not help. So we sent them to villages under a program called Social Entrepreneurship Project. And we made it, it is a credit course. You have to go to villages, identify their needs and demand, and their kind of where, and and suggest them what they can do for the development of the village. What are the skills that are there but they are unutilized? So these are some of photographs I am also seen in them. He is person standing next to me is the Sarpanch of that village, Lohgad. So things like that, different initiatives. Then you have to take some, develop labs and all.
Now bibliography part. Last two slide number 16.
Yes. Sorry, come again. Hemant, is somebody trying to talk to me?
No, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So this was our initiative, but this is just suggestive. You can have your own. But the idea is, please throw students as much as possible to the field. Don't keep them confined in the classroom and only deliver lectures. That will not help. And this is just to touch. Can I proceed can I continue for next 5 minutes, Dr. Gupta?
Yes, sure, sir. Please.
5 minutes, last 5 minutes. So as I told you during my talk, that I strongly believe that you are not an MBA if you don't go CEO. You are not an MBA if you don't go CEO. I'm not proud of being an MBA. I'm proud of, going to the top level in corporate and then come to academics. Otherwise, so these are the skill sets needed to go CEO. Since I harped a lot, and different researchers show the importance of technical skill, which is definitely there, but at the very top level as a CEO, technical skills take a backseat. It is practical. Technical skills, they tend to take backseat as you go up the ladder. Then these skills, cognitive skills, which includes, speaking, active listening, then business, commercial skills, interpersonal skills, and strategic skills, they take precedence. You want example? Carly Fiona, who is global CEO of Hewlett Packard, which is a, a highly tech-driven company. What was her background? She was not even an engineer. She was a law graduate. She was trained in law. And so many engineers were reporting to her. Why? Because at the top, very top, technical skills take backseat. And your man management and other skills, business skill, interpersonal skill, collaborative skill, all these things take precedence. So CEOs need not be a technical person per se. If he is, that is icing on the cake. But without these skills, having a lot of technical skill, a degree from Massachusetts Institute of Technology will not make you go CEO, will not take you to CEO. Very clear, both from research and I have, since I am a corporate guy, I have seen corporates from close quarters. And these are some of the practices that, of course, this is required by the faculty, my esteemed faculty fraternity who are sitting here. And of course, all these are useful for students as well, because if they know, what are the skills needed, this will also help them. But this slide is primarily addressed towards my esteemed faculty colleagues who are listening to this particular talk of mine. These
Yes,
are
sir.
must.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'll strongly recommend all my esteemed faculty colleagues to please attend this ISB Master Teacher Program, if situation permits, in ISB Hyderabad, which is regularly held there. So conclusion is, either stay relevant or get extinct in Industry 4.0. And these are some of the references that, you all can access these articles and read. Thank you so much. So now questions are welcome.
Yes,
I hope I did not exceed my time, Dr. Pandya.
No, not at all, sir. Not at all, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. No.
Actually, it was very insightful one, and it will also help us in our curriculum reforms.
Yes, it will.
Because the skills and everything that you focused on, and particularly the futuristic perspectives. So it will be more a help to us than to the students, but it will also help them understand what is expected from them, so that by the time they go out and they are in the market, they can well equip themselves with the knowledge and skills.
Very true.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And now I request Gupta ji.
Yes, sir.
Sir, questions from
Sir,
your side?
so many
plus what you have
questions we
written.
received from the student side, but I just summarize few of them. First, one of my student asked you this, you taught about the innovative disruptive innovations. So it is the good or bad from your prospect?
Very good question. Whether it is
yes, sir.
Disruptive innovation means and cross-talking. Can you mute this cross-talking?
Yes, sir, mute yourself. Okay. Yes, sir. Now, please.
Thank you. Disruptive innovation means coming up with a kind of product or anything, supply chain or whatever, which will basically change the very rules of the game, which will change the very rules of the game. So what will be the repercussion or the kind of revelation, how it will reveal itself? Some very leading companies which have been there, they can be wiped out overnight. And we can see this happening now, every sector of the industry. Gone are the days when top 100 companies remain at top 100 list for long. Now every day, that list gets churned. New companies, new startups, they come up and they tend to. So this is the one aspect. So it is both. It is a double-edged sword. Definitely, it will disrupt the market, and but at the same time, it gives a lot of opportunity for the new challenge, for the new companies, and also customers. Ultimately, consumers are the gainers. Customers are the gainers. Whatever is happening in corporate sector, ultimately, so much of stiff competition and all, so ultimately we are the gainers nowadays. Even if now we can forget about this this COVID era. Otherwise, in normal time, customers are, they are the kings. Now we can go and we can look at so many technologies and things. Deliveries are getting faster thanks to, this digital disruptive innovation in supply chain segment. New products are hitting the market every day. Prices are getting cheaper. So, but then again, only those companies will stand to gain who are really updating themselves and they are the required technology. So it has both good and bad side. I think more of good for the consumers and slightly dangerous for the companies which are complacent. Complacent. I will not say big. Many big companies are very agile, but agility is a must. Otherwise, you will get wiped. If you're complacent, you feel I am the king. Somebody will topple you. So I think I have answered the question. This is what it is. Good. This is the double-edged.
Right, sir. Sir, another student from our MBA asked you about this current COVID situations. See, few persons are able to understand or learn the big data analysis. So how an individual can learn the big data analysis and where should go for the building their career in this particular field? He wants to ask you.
Big data analytics, can be really learned in Google platform, or there is Coursera, or there are, and per se, those who are, it is not that to pursue a career in data analytics, MBA students need to be very, very technically sound. It is myth. As I gave you the example of my own daughter, who is an MBA from IIT Kanpur, pursuing a career in data analytics, it is not that she is technically very competent. And that is not called for by the MBAs when they are put into data analytics. MBAs are supposed to interpret what the CEO needs on his dashboard. Then probably, if in case some MBA is not an engineering graduate, he's not supposed to be very well versed in all this R, Python, and this advanced Excel and things like that, nor is it is required. But an MBA student will have to know how to explain to those technically trained people working with him that what actually the management needs. That is what my daughter is doing. She is working for a big multinational, and that is what she is doing. Whatever that is coming from the top, she gets the job done by her team in the analytics field. So that is what, and knowledge nowadays, guys, boss, whoever student has asked me, it is now freely, it is free flow. You go to free flow. I am scared that whether tomorrow we will be at all required or not. This faculty, we could be a thing of past. I am just kidding. I'm just kidding, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sir, one more very interesting questions asked by the student. You discuss about the communication skill, but generally we think about the communication skill means the English speaking under knowledge. So what exactly you want to say about the communication skills?
Communication skill is not, sorry, had you finished your question, Heman?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, dear student, communication skill does not mean fluent English. I'm sorry. Communication skill, half the communication skill is empathy. Learning listening to the other person's body language, which we are oblivious to. Your own body language. And above all, empathy. Why empathy? Because as a good communicator is he who understands when to stop. He is constantly reading the body language of the listener. Suppose I am going on blabbering, fluent English, but the listener, oh, ठीक है, good, carry. So I should get that he doesn't want to listen to me any longer. So it is not at all speaking fluently or speaking in a given vernacular, whether it is English or Hindi or Bhojpuri or whatever it is, or German. It is not that. Communication skill is a bigger concept. Communication skill is the person who always constantly watching the body language of the listener and knows when to stop, when to talk. Language takes the back seat. I can speak in Hindi and I can go CEO. If I know how to communicate well to my communicator, first of all, told you what is communication. You must have a lot of management, man management skill. हिंदी में मैं बात करूंगा, मैं बोल दूंगा अच्छी तरह समझ लो भाई, अगर तुम ये प्रॉफिट नहीं ला सके तो अगले साल हमारा जॉब गया. My message should be conveyed. Language is immaterial. Language necessarily communication skill में, yeah, corporate, if you know English, it is bonus. But if you know English, but you don't know the communication skill, which I explained what it is, then you will be, that English speaking is of no use. Go on babbling in English and nobody will listen to you. So English, communication is also empathy. Yeah. Yes. Dr. Gupta.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well said. Sir, one thing more student want to ask you about the knowledge gathering. You taught about the learning and getting the experiences from the practical knowledge and this current scenario of the industry. So from where they will get? They ask the student asked me, is the bookish knowledge is enough for that, or they require the practical approach also?
Practical approach, bookish knowledge has to be supplemented. Students, please don't get me wrong. I am not at all trying to tell you that theoretical knowledge or bookish knowledge is not required. Please. But that theoretical knowledge has to find application somewhere, because applying that theory will only convince you how far you have understood the theory. Like segmenting, targeting, and positioning is what marketing books start with, or need, want, and demand marketing book starts with. But to understand whether you have understood the concept, you please meet a couple of people and try to apply that theory. Try to apply. Put yourself into a selling situation and try to apply that theory, and then you will come to know how much you have learned. The theory is there. Even sales, which is, people say it is a very, very practical field, is also driven by a lot of theories. Sales is driven by a lot of theories. There are so many theories. Theory of right set of circumstances, then need formula theory, then ADAS theory. A lot of theories are there. But when those theories are applied, then it carries meaning. So I'll suggest the students to whatever you are learning in theory classes, please don't ignore them. Theoretical knowledge is the basis, but try to be more application oriented. Put yourself. Always college or university cannot spoon feed you. Why you need to depend on your college alone to throw you to such situation? Be proactive. College will facilitate. Like I showed you that photograph of villages. We facilitated. But if students on their own, they don't go to village and interact with the sarpanch and other stakeholders and try to learn on their own, this initiative will go for a toss. So we are facilitators. We, faculty, institute, universities, we can be facilitators. But you have to be proactive. Yeah. I think I've answered this question of this interesting question.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, we also have the Deepika Ghostman with us. So she wants to directly ask a question to you, sir.
Directly ask. Yes, Deepika, please carry on.
So I hope I am audible to you.
Let me briefly introduce Deepika to you. Deepika was my student some 14 years back. Today, she is a very, very successful corporate practitioner. She is working in a slightly middle higher position in ICICI Bank. So yes, Deepika.
So I have no questions to ask because you have answered all my questions past 14 years back, which I have started implementing right from there. Even today, when I start my day, I start with your statements. The Go CEO is never going to hit out of my mind. It is there another short-term goal. Maybe 5 to 10 years down the line, I am somewhere in between and a little bit, I have already touched into the top management position today. Understanding this thing and the Carnegie slide. The Carnegie slide, I would again want to emphasize, is definitely useful. I would want to tell this to all the students and everyone, every folk who is there on this call, that is going to definitely help each one of us, because my personal experience, that has helped me. yes, as sir has already said, that the technical skills will definitely matter. Not to ignore the skills, but if we need to really grow or we have to raise our cadre, we have to sit at the top. We have to have that managerial skills to lead a team. And of course, that has really helped me, sir. So Chatterjee, sir, I thought this is a forum where I can unmute myself. I should come ahead and say a big thanks to you because yes, you have been my inspiration. And today, wherever I am, it is because of all the teachings that I have taken away from you. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Hemant, sir, for giving this opportunity to connect with sir directly. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome every time.
Thank you, Devika. Thank you.
Yeah,
So proud of the students. So
one last.
now other students, you please relate to this, Devika ma'am. The students are pursuing MBA. It is not coming from an old elderly person who is a faculty, and you heard from the horse's mouth. She says that, and she's already in a very senior position in ICICI Bank, practicing manager. And she echoed what I wanted to tell you. So even if some of you are unable to relate to what I am saying, please relate to what Devika ma'am told you. And she's a very successful corporate person. Thank you, Devika, for joining and listening. And
Pleasure, sir. Anytime. This is an opportunity to me. So I should thank the forum and I should thank you and Hemant, sir, to make me a part of this call. Thank you.
And sure, we will contact you every time and in the future also.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Obliged.
Yeah, I am just taking a last questions from the student. It's very interesting, sir. Very interesting. And this doubt is occurs each time to the student's mind. Sir, from your point of view, which sector MBA students should prefer right now for building their career in the future, sir? So,
come again, from which point of view?
Which sector you prefer for an MBA student or the especially marketing student to build their career for the futures? Marketing. For the marketing.
Understood. Which sector?
Yes, sir. Or which line? Which sector means I think the students wants to know which lines either they will go for the sales and distributions directly or the media or something like the data analytics. So which kind of sectors or the segment they should prefer?
Students, first of all, we have to break our mindset. That is, we are, we join a sector and we become sector bound. That is, I will begin there. I'll answer you, but let me begin from here. I have found that students have a misconception in MBA students, youngsters, that if I join insurance sector, I have to keep on working in insurance sector. If I join automobile sector, I will keep on working in automobile sector. If I join FMCG, I will have to keep on working. That is first of all wrong. First of all, come out of that mindset. Because fundamentals don't change. I have seen somebody joining in Mahindra and Mahindra from Pepsi. I have seen many guys joining from FMCG to bank, or vice versa. So after certain level, middle management onwards, the fundamentals don't change. That is, you are being looked at as a business manager. You are looked at somebody who can manage a team, who understands the market. So, and sector, there is nothing called any given sector is, good or bad. You look at stock market, sometimes, banking stocks are calling the shots, sometimes, some other. So these are all, this will keep on happening. But before doing all that, whatever, you choose, whatever sector you choose, whatever you do, please leave a mark. Please put in your heart to it, work passionately, and then, other companies will be after you. And people, and across the sector, it is not that I'm telling you something which is, I never tell a lie to my students at least. Whatever I tell you, if I don't know, I will say I don't know, but I know this, that people from Pepsi joining Mahindra and Mahindra, people from biscuit company joining airline, people from, so this keeps on happening. Because beyond a certain level, your man management skill and your business skill per se, in general, starts playing the role. So that is one. And secondly, that is what you look at yourself, where you feel comfortable doing what kind of job. But as far as this marketing is concerned, now it is gravitating more towards the digital marketing and marketing analytics rather than traditional marketing. But it is not that traditional marketing is a thing of past. When I discussed that 7-step selling process, famous 7-step selling process, with this prospecting, pre-approach, approach, I only said that prospecting probably is getting redundant because of this huge data collection. But it doesn't mean that selling skills are no more required. Please don't be under that impression. No amount of virtualization, no amount of automation, no amount of this thing can ever replace the fundamental selling skills which are needed. Even right now, my selling skills are coming into play when I'm talking to you. I'm trying to sell my ideas to you. If at all it is reaching you, I'm applying my selling skills inadvertently. So they are required. Fundamental, those traditional skills were in demand, and they will be in demand. But with some polishing, some icing on the cake. That's it. So choose any sector you find a job in, because all the time we cannot be choosers. I don't want to tell you that beggars cannot be choosers, because after all your MBAs are not. But you know the job market. So, but then let me not use the harsh term. Beggars can't be choosers. But start your career, whatever comes your way, and then use it as launch, because it doesn't matter where we start from. What matters is what we are going to. I had started from territory manager, ended up becoming CEO. So what we start from, it doesn't matter. What we are going to is important. Thank you. I believe I have.
Yeah, anybody else who wants to?
Then you can say, just allow them to switch on their camera and talk to me like Devika did.
Yes. Raise your hand so that I can allow you to discuss with Sir Chatterjee sir. Anybody?
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon, Dr. Mukesh. Yes.
Sir, first of all, thank you so much for sharing such a valuable information about how the industry transformation took place, right, sir? And what I figure out from your presentation, that industry like Industry 4 is not simply about the act of replacing the people with machine and robotics. Instead, it is the way in which the people can work together with the automation and robotics, right, sir? But sir, when we look at up the Industry 4, emerging economy like India, when we are facing problem with regard to the infrastructure that are exist, the quality and talented manpower that you already address in your presentation as well, and related to the end-to-end transparency and the privacy, and especially with reference to the cyber security in implementing the Industry 4. So my question to you, sir, how to deal with such issues?
Issues are what? I could not understand which issue you are referring to.
Say issues with regards to the security, with regards to the infrastructure gaps that are key enabler to implement the Industry 4 in economy like India.
India is an emerging economy, and definitely we are a few years behind the developed economy when it comes to any industrial. That's why I was repeatedly telling you that this was early and mid-80s when Industry 3.0 arrived finally in India. Similarly, Industry 4.0 is now arriving in last 5 years, and they have happened there a few years back. But having said that, India is a country which is and especially this. Geographical border is now let only politicians worry about them. Now these geographical borders have become very blurred. So whatever is like this, why Toyota withdrew that Qualis? I was at that time with Toyota. Toyota withdrew Qualis and launched Innova only because they were worried that if at all Indian market ever comes to know that the engine they are providing in Qualis was obsolete and very old. And they didn't want to take that chance with an India which is 130 crore people market, huge market in the world. So, this geographical boundaries now have become blurred. Products are getting simultaneously launched in different countries, and nobody wants to take chance with a country like, with a market like India. When I was traveling into America and or Las Vegas, I went to malls, and I really found could not make out they are as good or bad as we Indian malls. There was hardly any brand which is not available here in our top malls, which were there in Las Vegas. What I mean to say that, okay, today there is some gap in infrastructure and all with the developed countries, but it is only, India is catching up very fast. And as I told you, this digital disruption, disruptive innovation, it will, an Indian tech brain, my goodness, Dr. Mukesh, all they are able to run their show because Indian techies, brain hua India say. So it is not very, Indian brain in technology is acknowledged throughout the world. So
Right,
I'm
sir.
very optimistic. And
Sir, there are two dimensions to see as far as concerned to the manpower. The first one, very often we heard that India has the demographic dividends. They have a majority of manpower below the age of 35, and that's the biggest advantage we possess as a country. But again, I refer the Indian skill report that recently been published. It says that they almost any degree you talk about, whether it is a technical or non-technical education degree, none of them is offer more than 40% employability of the students. So according to you, what kind of a strategy as an academician we should incorporate in order to make your student more employable in the industry?
that is what I was talking about, Dr. Mukesh.
Yes.
That we should reinvent ourselves. You teach what, Dr. Mukesh?
In marketing, sir. I'm in the
Please
marketing.
don't look at yourself only like I do, but that is what I was trying to tell you. That keep updating. Let us update ourselves. And why I told this in this class that I'm wearing 60 and I'm pursuing a course in digital marketing, because I wanted to inspire my students. I want to get this message very strongly into their head that gone are the days we can depend. Whatever, I was topper of my batch when I did way back in 85 my MBA. But if I feel that I know it all and I did not update, I'll be redundant. In today's classes, I will look like a first-class joker if I still teach what was taught to me some 35 years back. So that is what if you ask me what we should do, we should constantly update ourselves and try to bring in the concepts like, as I told you, maker space and, attending these forums like Master Teacher Program in institutes like ISB. ISB, we are lucky it is in India. It is no way worse than, no way less than Harvard. And their resources are as good as that because I've listened to many Harvard resources also. So we are lucky that ISB happens to be in India. It's much better than Ahmedabad and some of the IIMs because I have been to all of them. So that's what. So we need to update, boss. Students need to update themselves. We as faculty, we have our role to play in their development and throw them in the market. Whenever you want to, make some of your internal assignment, not in COVID time, but normal time, you ask them to go to industry and do some project. And I'm sure most of us, we are doing that. But since you asked me a question, I'm trying to give you ideas. So trying to always, expose them to the outside world, corporate world.
Thank you, sir, for your.
Thank you for your lovely questions, Dr. Mukesh. Very nice interacting with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, anybody else? Or I should wind up this particular meeting or session? Okay. So behalf of Chaudhary family, sir, I would like to thank you to Professor T.K. Chatterjee for providing us such a valuable thought and knowledge about the innovations in the industry 4.0 scenario, about the skills and the knowledge which is required for updating to the students and as well as the academicians, and how much it's important to gather the latest knowledge and skills for the survival of this particular industry. So thank you from Charusat University and Charusat family, sir. And we hope and we wish for continuing your sessions and continuing attraction from your side and attachment in the future also, sir. Thank you, sir.
It will be mutual. I look forward. Dr.
Yeah.
Pandya, it was very nice, forum, and it is very
Thank
nice
you.
meeting you all in Charusat. Even this
Thank
in
you,
between faculty who came, who asked me
Mukesh.
question, very impressive. Dr. Mukesh,
Yes.
Dr. Mukesh.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
So I look forward to an opportunity when this COVID era subsides and we can personally meet each other over a coffee.
Sure, sir, sure. We wish, and thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And